What's up? My name is Jaden.
My name's Thomas.
And this is the AP Psych podcast. Today we're joined by two guests. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hey, my name is Evan.
Hey, my name is David.
And we are going to talk about psychology, perception in psychology.
Yeah.
So, what is on our platter today, Thomas?
So on our platter, we have basically 6 main things. We're going to be talking about signal detection, subliminal messaging, perceptual processing, attention phenomena, and the Gestalt principle.
Right.
So basically, to start us off, we have Gustav Fechner. And this man is the first man that I want to talk about, and he created something called the absolute threshold. See, the absolute threshold is something that states the minimum stimulation needed to detect the stimulus more than 50% of the time. So basically, you need to reach a certain requirement of something to feel something. So for an example would be, if you want to see something, you need a minimum of 5 photons of light. And if you want to feel something, you have to have at least something touching you to feel something. Well, if you don't, that's kind of
Right. Wait, so that sounds more like anatomical, don't you think? Like you need like
That
this,
is true. That is true.
this many.
That is true.
But to be honest, I feel like I guess it is a result of like the human anatomy. I feel like signal detection is just like, it's there because the human body perceives the environment the way it does.
Right. Yeah. So why don't you talk about the other two?
He built off of what Gustav made, because Gustav started from like absolute threshold, and he helped define this other type of branch called difference threshold.
Okay.
And I guess in essence, it's like the ability to detect like different signals, like it's how we're able to
Differentiate something.
differentiate stuff, like an animal's voice from like a person's voice.
Right.
And I think it's also it's not just like for sound either. It's also through like
Everything else is like just basically a perception.
like
It's like all 5 senses.
all 5 senses
Okay.
are applicable for like both thresholds so far.
Right.
And-
And like this entire thing falls under signal detection, which is something that we can feel something. So basically, the textbook definition would be the ability to detect the presence of a weak stimulus amid other stronger stimulus. So basically, we can tell if someone's whispering to us in the middle of a room where everyone else is shouting to us. So basically, that's basically it for signal detection.
I mean, that's like interesting though, because it's like, what is a weak stimulus? What's a stronger stimulus? Like, it's
So like, how is it defined?
yeah.
That is true. Like, I guess like you can go back to like the example I was talking about, like how someone's whispering to you, or everyone is shouting to you.
Okay. Next up, we have subliminal messaging. I think subliminal messaging is really interesting because it's something that I use pretty frequently. It's just from my own perspective, but essentially it is the impact of stimuli on our cognition and judgment that is like too quick or weak or like too consciously like detect or process something. It's something that we use every day. It's something we use in school.
Right.
It is something
Too often.
Too often.
Too often.
Way
Too
too
often.
But yeah,
For example, there was this study done with a group of people, and basically the researchers showed either a picture of a werewolf or a puppy with a face that's either really happy or really sad or mean. And the rate at which the researchers showed the people these emotions just kept on speeding up. And so it reached a certain point where the people couldn't even tell what kind of emotions those pictures had. And so the result was the people tended to put emotions that were happier and nicer to the puppy more than to the werewolf. And so what this basically shows is the ability to affect people's perception without their conscious awareness is really true. And so this is basically the understanding of subliminal messaging, which is basically proving how something like a stimuli can affect their conscious behavior and our awareness.
all right. Thank you for cutting me off. Now,
Okay.
I don't know. You explained that a lot better than I did, so thank you.
That's good.
So I think, I don't know, you nailed that. So I guess we can just move on to the next course on our meal.
Perceptual processing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are 2 kinds bottom-up processing and top-down processing. Thomas, ladies first.
Okay.
Alright.
So basically, bottom-up processing is where it starts at a sensory level. So we see something, right? And it works up to something, a higher level of processing.
Right.
So we understand something. So basically, an example would be, I can look at a water bottle. So that's sensory.
Yeah.
And then we can think about the water bottle. We can be like, should I drink it or not? That's the higher level of processing.
Yeah.
And so an example, so the opposite of that would be top-down, which is...
Which is this. I guess it's like the reverse of bottom-up
yeah.
processing, which is I guess I'm gonna introduce an example first, so you guys have like a more of a
Understanding.
reference understanding. So for example, I think everyone has burned their hand before on like a stove or something, or like some kind of fire. I definitely have. I can speak from experience.
Sadly, me too. So.
And now if I like look at a fire or like a really hot stove that is like the metal on it is like turning red, I can look at that and be like, wow, that must be really hot. And that's exactly what top-down processing is. It's more of just like
It's our memories.
our memories.
Experiences, yeah.
Exactly. It's like taking stuff from a memory in order to like make a sensory based off of like a very complex type of like experience or expectation,
Right.
and you know, like being able to sense that like something is hot because you burn yourself on something from like in your memory.
Okay.
Anyway, PhD Khan, would you like to jump in, please?
I would. Why not? Go ahead.
All right. So, I mean, how does like top-down processing affect you in like your daily life?
Top-down processing, like how you explain with the stove analogy. I think once you've lived enough life to experience, you know, like a few things, you know what to expect from that. When you see it. So like how he said about the stove, when you see it's hot or red, and how your experience affected like how you know it's hot, that stays in your head like that the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess this will conclude our first episode. Thanks for listening. We'll have another part 2 up in like very soon.
Yeah, very, very soon.
Actually,
Alright.
next like minute.
Next minute. Yeah.
Second, really, but
Yeah.
Or 10 minutes.
Just
You
stay
never
here.
know.
Don't worry.
it's okay, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.